What is up, my wonderful friends of the interweb? It is time for the Royal Rumble, and the Royal Rumble is notoriously full of surprises and shocks, and this is the best season to be a wrestling fan. It's not the holiday season, it's WrestleMania season, baby. And it all kickstarts this Saturday as the road to WrestleMania begins at the Royal Rumble, which all leads to the most stupendous WrestleMania 2 nights live from Dallas, Texas. This is Big Fudge Big Sports, and we're talking today 10 possible surprise Royal Rumble entrants. Now, we have seen some long-awaited returns. We have seen some miraculous recoveries from injuries. We have seen surprise entrants become champions. We have seen shocking debuts in WWE. We've even seen a man come back from a career-ending injury. So what are we going to see this year? I say let's get to it. So before we kick things off, I just want to say this top 10 is coming to you spoiler free. I saw there's spoilers out there. I said get that weak shit out of here. I don't want to know what's going to happen. I want to be genuinely surprised when I see it happen. So these are just my actual predictions and my guesses based off of what we've seen in WWE and where things seems like we may be heading with some things. So before we get right to it though, please like and subscribe. My production value right now is kind of equivalent to TNA at its lowest point. I'm withholding paychecks from my employees. Also, I am my only employee. So you can't have a top anything list if you don't have an honorable mentions beforehand. So my predictions here are for the men's Royal Rumble, so I figured I'd get some predictions for the women's Royal Rumble as part of my honorable mentions. It seems like the women have already given away all of the big surprises that could happen, as you see big names like Mickie James up here and Michelle McCool and the Bella Twins. A lot of big names are coming out for this women's Royal Rumble. Then you start thinking about it and thinking maybe there could be even more surprises. Maybe we could see somebody we haven't seen in a long time. Maybe we could see some Ronda Rousey. We haven't seen her in a WWE ring in a long time. And we still haven't gotten to see that one-on-one match with Becky Lynch, so I think it might happen this year. I say it every year we're going to get Ronda Rousey, and I'm going to keep saying it every year until we get it. Another person we might get is Bayley. She's been out with an injury, and I think she's going to come back, and she's going to make an attempt to win back her women's championship. Alright, let's get our top 10 started. I just want to say I'm ranking them from what I think is least likely to happen to what I think is most likely to happen. So coming in at number 10, we have Cody Rhodes, that's the son of a plumber. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. Also an EVP of All Elite Wrestling. Also just happens to be a free agent right now. So is there a chance that Cody could go to WWE and compete in the Royal Rumble as a free agent? Absolutely, there's a chance. But I think Cody might be a little worried that they might go ahead and tell him to paint up once again and bring back the Stardust character. We know Cody would be so against that happening, but it would also be such a great platform for Cody to go out there in front of one of the biggest audiences of the year and maybe even bring some fans back to All Elite Wrestling once he re-signs with them. I think ultimately when WWE has a say in this decision, they're going to go ahead and say, no chance in hell do we want Cody Rhodes with our company. He left, he started a new company, and they won the Wednesday Night Wars. Hell no, we don't want this kid here. Coming in at number 9 is one of the most popular wrestlers of all time, The Rock. Now, The Rock has been pretty busy being one of the highest grossing actors in Hollywood and just being all around jacked as fuck. But as soon as Roman Reigns became champion, the rumors started swirling about a one-on-one match with his cousin for the Universal Championship, and what better place to do that than at the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania, and what better place to earn your spot at WrestleMania than at the Royal Rumble. Could you imagine the pop if The Rock's music hits at the Royal Rumble? That crowd would go nuts. They will blow the roof off that place, especially if The Rock wins, and Roman versus The Rock will be one of the biggest WrestleMania matches of all time. I am really hoping I'm right on this one, but I think it's not very likely to happen because The Rock is so tied up in Hollywood, but only time will tell. Coming in at number 8, our other Hollywood boy. Let me say that a little bit more clearly. Hollywood boy, not Bollywood boy. Very, very different. I'm talking our 16-time world champion, John Cena. Now, Cena has got to come back eventually and win number 17, I think, because currently he's tied with Ric Flair, who is currently canceled by the wrestling community. So it's only right that John would come back and win number 17. Does it happen now? I'm not sure, but we would love to see John come back at the Rumble and maybe even win it. He's won 2 before. He went to overtime once. He lost that, but he still kind of counts as a win because he tied. He's also had some great championship matches at the Royal Rumble, notably against Umaga, and then a triple threat against Brock and Seth, and then the classic with AJ Styles. John Cena is kind of Mr. Royal Rumble, and I would love to see the Peacemaker, Mr. You Can't See Me, enter the Royal Rumble as a surprise entrance, because who doesn't want more Big Match John? Number 7 is the current NXT 2.0 champion, Bron Breakker, the son of Rick Steiner. Bron Breakker has put NXT 2.0 on his back, and he's become the face of this brand. And what better way to promote this brand than to enter the Royal Rumble and have a very strong showing? I think there's a good chance Bron comes out there, he has some impressive moments, and the Rumble gets eliminated, but at least give some more exposure to NXT and bring some new eyes to Tuesday nights. Number 6, The Fiend. Now, The Fiend was somewhat recently released from WWE due to budget cuts, and maybe there were some backstage disagreements, but there's no doubt about it, The Fiend has been one of the most popular characters in recent WWE memory. He's had some highs, he's had some lows. He did face Goldberg at Super Showdown, and he lost the Universal Championship when he was as hot as ever, and let's face it, the world was not the same since then. But this might be the opportunity to make things right and let The Fiend in and make his surprise re-debut at the Royal Rumble. The crowd would absolutely lose their shit and go bonkers if the lights go out and the Let Me In pops up on the screen. People would go out of their minds to see The Fiend back. And since The Fiend has not signed with AEW or any other company, that's probably a good sign for WWE that they might have a chance to make things right and bring back this ultra popular, ultra polarizing character, because let's face it, they will never find another character like The Fiend again, or anybody with the talent and mind of Bray Wyatt. So I think WWE needs to get this done and make this happen. Number 5, we have Gunther, formerly known as Walter. He did the Kanye West thing and decided to change his name, but somehow his name change ended up being worse than Kanye's. So he was met with a lot of criticism, so he decided to drop his last name, the Stark. Now he's just Gunther. No, he is not the guy working at Central Perk and Friends. This is still the hard-hitting monster, the leader of the Imperium that we knew beforehand. And honestly, it doesn't matter what you name this guy, he is a monster. You could name him Fluffy Teddy Bear and he would still be an intimidating presence with the hard-hitting chops. I think Gunther enters the Rumble. He's got a name change. He's kind of starting to do his own thing here, separate from NXT UK, coming to the US a little more, and then slowly work his way up to the main roster under his new name and with a little bit of a new look after he's slimmed down. Coming in at number 4, we have a special 2-for-1, Corey Graves and Pat McAfee entering the Royal Rumble. Now, reports are saying Corey Graves has finally been cleared to return to the ring after an extended absence of multiple years from being allowed to wrestle. Now, if Corey's coming back, I say why not also have Pat come back? We know he is athletic and he can go in the ring, as we saw just last year in NXT, and even in a few years before that, we saw Corey in the ring in NXT. So I think they should both have their chance to show what they can do in the Royal Rumble, kind of like how we saw Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler a few years ago, but these guys are far more athletic and actually able to go in the ring, so I think this would be so much more entertaining. If they let Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler do it, might as well let Corey and Pat do it. I don't think this is going to lead to a WrestleMania match between the two. Maybe it'll lead to a match for Corey, probably not Pat. He's got a lot of things going on, but boy, would this be awesome to see both those guys in the ring for the Royal Rumble. I say let's make it happen. Alright, we've made it to the top 3. Number 3, we have Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling, formerly in NXT, a current free agent. I think it would be awesome to see Johnny in the ring. As long as he doesn't show up in All Elite Wrestling this week, I think there's a pretty good chance Johnny's going to make a return at the Royal Rumble. Now, I don't think he's going to be around for very long. His wife is pregnant. She's about to have the baby. He's made it pretty clear that he's going to want to be there, at least in the beginning, all the time. He's not going to want to be wrestling. So he's made it clear he's not going to be returning full-time anytime soon, but he could definitely do a one-off at the Rumble because we would all love to see some more Johnny wrestling, even if it's for one match, because we know this guy is always entertaining to watch. Just like last time when he entered the Royal Rumble at number 6, Philadelphia went absolutely nuts for him, and they're going to go nuts for Johnny again. Number 2, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano's former tag team partner. This is why I think it would be awesome to see Johnny, even for one match. The dynamic between him and Ciampa is always great. Former tag team champions together. And also former rivals in NXT. NXT OG. And NXT OG is dead, so I could see Ciampa finally making his jump to the main roster like we waited for so long. As Braun Breaker is now carrying the torch in the NXT 2.0, we're going to see Ciampa make his debut at the Rumble and probably kickstart a rivalry for his match at WrestleMania. Coming in at number 1, we have the current Impact World Champion, Moose. Now, I think this is the most likely one to happen because we have Mickie James already coming over as the Impact Women's Champion, so why can't we get the Impact Men's Champion over? They made it pretty clear that they must have opened up some forbidden door to Impact if they can get the Women's Champ, so now we get the Men's Champ coming on over, and this is really awesome because once upon a time, WWE did not even mention the existence of Impact. They would pretend like it didn't even exist, and now we got the World Champion coming over for the Royal Rumble. That's going to be awesome to see, and not to mention the fact that we now have opened up the forbidden door. If we bring in Mickie, we bring in Moose. Who else can we bring in? Maybe we could reunite the OC. That would be awesome to see them teamed up with AJ again. Those guys are always great together. And then if we're working with Impact, maybe we can open up the door a little more and start working with other companies like New Japan Pro Wrestling. Could you imagine Okada in a WWE ring? Could you imagine Okada versus Roman Reigns? Okada versus Brock Lesnar? We could see some really great matches when we kick down this forbidden door. I hope we see Moose, not just to see Moose, but also because of the significance behind him showing up. It signifies bigger things are coming, and I cannot wait to see it. What do you guys think? So this is Big Fudge Big Sports, and those are my predictions for this Saturday's Royal Rumble. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe. It would mean the world to me if you could. And also, please let me know in the comments what you think. Give me your predictions. Tell me what you think I'm going to be right on. Tell me what you think I'm going to be wrong on. And make sure you hit that subscribe button so when I'm right, you can come back and tell me how smart I am. Or when I'm absolutely wrong and I miss all 10 of them, you can come back and tell me how stupid I am. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.